What about you? What were the three things that you have noticed that had the biggest positive impact on your brain?
Well, the first one would be also removing alcohol. Alcohol for me, the benefits for me I've seen are not just clearer thinking and, there was a dependence too. So removing alcohol did more than just improving brain health. It did a lot more improvement for me. But brain specifically, all of that is driven by the brain anyway. So my emotional, let's say, ability to identify and regulate emotions is probably the most important result after completely removing alcohol. Hello, and welcome to the Solutions Manual podcast, where we take life's greatest challenges and turn them into simple, practical solutions that you can actually use. I'm Sarah, and I'm fascinated by nutrition, well-being, and human performance.
And I'm Maciek, a physician and medical leader passionate about helping people unlock their potential. What unites us is a deep fascination with how the human brain works and how to train it.
Together, we will show you how you can rewrite your life story by retraining your brain.
Join us as we explore the intersection of science, the brain, leadership, and personal growth. Let's get started. Okay, I think we are ready.
Okay. What is the best thing you ever did for your brain?
One single thing I've ever done for my brain?
Yes.
I think there are three things throughout my life that I believe have benefited me the most. One of them was not my decision, and two of them were my conscious decision, one actually very difficult. Okay. So I'm going to start with the one that I didn't have much influence on, and I believe that a significant thing that I have benefited from was that I have been pushed to learn very different things, like variety of skills, things, and knowledge when I was younger. Mm-hmm. And this is something I need to thank my parents for, because they were the ones, do this, learn how different sports, learn different things, explore different skills, learn to play an instrument, try to learn foreign languages, try to get as much information in your head. You don't have to be good at them. Just try to get as many different types of skills, see what you like, right? Explore it. That was, in hindsight, I think, very good thing to do. And that wasn't fully my choice.
Mm-hmm, right.
The second thing I believe I have done that I have very quickly had very positive effects from was completely cutting out alcohol. Mm-hmm. It had a deep and significant impact on how my brain performs.
How long did it take you to notice that?
It's a great question. You almost don't feel anything at the beginning. Mm-hmm. So you need to step out and look at slightly larger or longer time frame. But after 4-6 months, the feeling or the difference felt very significant. Mm-hmm. I only later learned that it takes a long time since you had your last drink for your cognitive performance to be significantly improved or back to the point where it normally should be. Mm-hmm. And but yeah, it's an obvious knowledge, it's a common knowledge, it's a very well documented belief that alcohol is a central nervous system poison. Mm-hmm. Stopping poisoning yourself has a significantly impact on your brain. And to be honest, there's not really that much that you miss anyway. Yeah. Forget the positive nutritional impact of not drinking, because that cuts down significant number of calories. Mm-hmm. So that was a very positive thing to do.
And the third?
Well, the third one was physical movement, was physical activity, which was the hardest one for me to get into. Contrary to other people, I don't really enjoy doing it. I don't enjoy running. I don't enjoy physical activity. And I rarely experience what some people say, this rush of endorphins. They feel great. I feel exhausted after physical exercise, even if it's mild. So I kind of need to force myself to do this. But it's enough to do a regular, moderate type of effort for 2-3 weeks to see an immense positive impact on how my brain functions every day.
Wow.
If I define it in a context of my own cognitive reserve, the amount of cognitive willpower, let's say, that I wake up with every morning, it probably doubles. It doubles that capacity
Wow.
if I exercise regularly. And it seriously, I only need several days of regular zone 2 type of effort to benefit from it. So I need to remind myself and kind of force myself to do this, but the benefits are obvious.
Yeah, so the type of exercise you're doing, just to clarify, is not HIIT or heavy lifting
No.
or walking
No, that's a very different.
leisurely, right? You're talking about zone 2 training specifically?
I'm talking specifically for zone 2 metabolic type of training, because that's the one that I seem to get most benefits from. To be honest, sometimes even if it's just walking, I can feel benefits or positive impact on my brain just from walking. Everything that is more intense, it's great. Like you've mentioned, high intensity training, that is great for your cardiovascular health, increasing your VO2 max as well. When you mention resistance training, this is great for maintaining your muscle mass, but it has obvious health benefits.
Of course.
But from the brain's point of view, low to moderate level of daily physical activity does immense wonders.
Yeah.
The one thing I've observed is it's not something that I can rush or squeeze into. It's not about, how quickly can I cover 5 miles? I get way more from walking for an hour than from running intensely for 30 minutes. It's not about the intensity. And the benefits are obvious.
Wow.
So these 3 things. 1, learning early on, learning different
during the most
skills.
plastic part of your life, essentially.
Yes, I was lucky to do this.
Yeah,
Yes.
being exposed to things that reinforced it. 2 is removing alcohol completely from your diet.
Yes.
And
I later cut
3
out other poisons too, but this was the one where I noticed that cutting out things that are bad for your brain has
specifically
noticeable,
had.
significant improvement on its performance.
And then 3, regular zone 2 training.
Regular low to moderate level activity,
Yeah.
almost immediately, within days,
Wow.
you get the benefits from.
Wow.
And the principles that I learned from all these 3 things, you can easily maintain them or continue or improve them as you go through life. I still try to learn new things. I still try to pick up new skills. I don't need to be good at them. That's not the point. The point is not mastery. The point is neuroplasticity. And it's the same thing with movement. I'm not training to run a marathon. I'm not training to be a heavy lifter. I'm not training to be an athlete. I'm purely moving to maintain my brain's performance. And it's exactly what cutting out poisons is the same thing, right? You can extend this, you can minimize the amount of drugs you're taking. Don't take supplements if you don't know what they're doing and why have you been prescribed them. Don't take pharmaceuticals unless it's absolutely necessary. Don't eat things that if you read the label and you don't have ingredients at home, why are you putting this into your mouth, right? And these things accumulate and they have lower impact. You can probably get 80%. I get the vast majority from that one thing, but you can add and keep improving it.
Sure. Yeah.
As you go through life. Yeah.
Great.
What about you? What were the 3 things that you have noticed that had the biggest positive impact on your brain?
Well, the first one would be also removing alcohol. Alcohol for me, the benefits for me I've seen are not just clearer thinking and well, there was a dependence too. So removing alcohol did more than just improving brain health. It did a lot more improvement for me. But brain specifically, all of that is driven by the brain anyway. So my emotional, let's say, ability to identify and regulate emotions is probably the most important result after completely removing alcohol. Similar to what you said about when you were younger, you were exposed to a lot of learning. I think I was fortunate to be in a similar situation. But I think more specifically for me, being encouraged to do simultaneous activities, music and sports, language and advanced math, right? These kinds of things that were demanding from a schedule point of view, but like I was also very lucky to have parents who prioritized that for me, not just to expose me and see what I liked, but there was an intentional reason for doing physical activity and mental and just learning in general. And I developed a love of learning. Like, well, I had that inherently anyway, but my parents reinforced that in different ways, not even just activities, but that helped my brain, I think, stay plastic. So similar.
Yes, and it's very interesting that you say about these not almost opposite things to do, right? Academic and physical, right? For example, or creative and thinking.
Yeah.
People often say, "Oh, I'm good at languages, so I'm not going to learn maths. Oh, I'm great at physics, but I'm not going to learn biology," right? But that's not the point, to be great at everything.
No.
Or not recognizing what you're naturally good at.
Yeah.
It's about making a conscious effort to learn the things that you're not good at, not because you want to master them, but because you want to improve your brain's
practice
performance.
them in a certain way. Yeah. You're learning new things, you're forcing connections. There's a lot of social activity around that too. So yeah, that was something.
Okay, so broad stimulation of your brain
Yeah.
across different domains.
Simultaneous, yeah, like
Yes,
in this, like
logical, creative, movement, which is spatial,
yeah,
emotional, social,
yeah,
everything,
yeah,
a little bit of everything.
yeah. So removing alcohol completely is the first one. That's the most significant. Similar to you being in an environment that reinforced plasticity early, because that carried into my adult life. And that also kind of extended into enjoying teaching and instructing. So I think the third thing would be instructing fitness and movement. I was always an athlete and an exerciser. So it's not that I chose to do that. If the question is what's the best thing that I ever did for my brain, I've already been like a baseline normal or regular exerciser. For brain specifically, it was pushing myself to learn to instruct formats of exercise that combined multiple aspects of fitness: strength, balance, mobility, cardiorespiratory fitness, all in the same class or all in the same module. And that's good for the body, being able to move and instruct and teach. But what is beneficial for me for the brain was designing the class, instructing while moving, and like almost observing myself doing that in a way that was. It's very interesting to be a fitness instructor of let's say Zumba. Lots of people that do movement, or step instructor, or something that is more than just stationary. That's even spin instructors. It's kind of like this, well, people say like the cerebral experience, because it is, and you're sort of doing the movement that you're talking about you're talking about it ahead of time, even if it's just half a second ahead of time, but you're also observing people in the, like there's a lot that goes on to doing it, let alone doing it well. And I think learning how to do this and then take feedback and all of the things that make it more effective for the class, that's probably the best thing.
Okay, so but it sounds to me like this is something that you purely enjoy doing, and that's something that you're good at.
But
so how does it benefit your brain?
yeah, but I wasn't told to do this. This wasn't one of the planned things in my school curriculum or something. It was like, I want to be able to do this. Yeah, I have an affinity for it for sure. But how it benefits my brain is it challenges me to create new connections because I'm designing something new every time. It improves my memory significantly. It improves my communication and just being able to think clearly ahead of time and plan, but also then deliver it in a very specific way that I think helped mostly help memory recall and maintain openness to learning, maybe.
Which is essentially, it sounds to me like an ongoing...
In a way that's different than lecturing. I'm talking specifically fitness, teaching fitness specifically. And especially formats that combine movement with some sort of other aspect, whether that's also learning or memory or balance or strength or whatever it is. Yeah.
So this sounds to me like it's a finding or engaging in activities that broadly stimulate different areas of your brain in a creative, physical, social, in multiple different ways.
Yeah, you talked about like how long it takes you to observe benefits after zone 2. And after teaching fitness a few times, a couple of classes, I get a lot more physical benefit. Cardiorespiratory fitness is the first observable difference. But focus and productivity and ability to stay prioritize
improves as well.
Is what is what lasts the longest when I was doing that. Yeah. And that's like completely the brain, like for days after, show up at work in a different way, manage tasks in a different way. It definitely impacted. Yeah.
Interesting. Anything else on that topic? On things that you have done and they clearly...
Yes, one more, which is something I never did before recently, was indexing. Yeah. Okay,
so what is indexing? Because most people will not be familiar. We're using neuroscientific terminology here, but people will probably recognize it as something else.
Yeah, people might recognize it as like meditation, but it's not exactly meditation. We're talking about when you are in a state in which you are observing your thoughts, you're not directing them in any particular way. You're also not trying to remove them. I think that when people think about meditation or prayer and let's say some thought comes in, you kind of you can bring your awareness back to your breath or try and stop thinking or stop focusing on the thoughts you're having, but that's not the same thing as indexing. Indexing is almost watching, observing what's happening and not feeling tempted to redirect your attention to anything else that's physical, whether that's in your environment or your own body. Because you're sort of observing your thoughts, and whether it's a day that you have a lot of capacity or reserve or not, it sort of puts you can I can feel it be almost reparative. Even
because it is.
Because it is.
Because it is,
even if the thoughts themselves are maybe on the more judgmental side,
Mhm.
or maybe on the more difficult side, or I'm trying to figure out a problem or come up with a solution. And
Mhm.
again, not directing it specifically, but if there's something in the back of the mind that's being worked on, and during an indexing session it comes up, the observation of initial additional thoughts or emotions or physical feelings that come from it dissipate in a way or get redirected in a way that is it feels different. So I can and I enjoy it too. And it's just like anything,
And
it takes practice.
takes practice, and I think it's a lot of people don't even realize, because they have never done it, how difficult it is to sit without distractions for 10 minutes and do nothing and not react, respond, carry on, or ruminate on the thoughts that randomly popped into their heads. A lot of
And I think the other thing that this has done for me is, in addition to just being genuinely curious about how cool it is that it works and how the brain does this and how it functions in this indexing mode, is can't help but kind of feel grateful for your brain in a way. And then there's a lot of things that come from, it's a humble gratitude in a way, but it's like, wow, like I needed to give my brain that 5, 10, 15 minutes. And it's like, oh, I should do this more. And my brain asks me for rest in this way.
Yes.
And once you start doing this, it's like you kind of connect with yourself in a different way. And there's a lot of love and care and value that comes from that practice in itself.
Because it is, in a way, time just to yourself as well.
But it's not a self-care thing. It's not that,
No, it's an essential thing to do.
It's
right?
a very deeply personal, like, I'm truly taking care of
I think this
the
is
thing that is getting me through life.
I think this is an extremely important thing to do. And it's based on fundamental ways in which human brain works. And we say that today it's a mental health epidemic or mental well-being crisis, however we choose to describe it. But if we go back to the basics of how animal brains, including human brains, manage information that they receive through their senses, eyes, ears, body, right, smells, taste, and their own thoughts, which are internalized sources of information or emotions that they experience. Everything that comes into your brain puts your brain in processing mode, right? Every information that you read, sounds that you hear, music that you listen to, news that you're absorbing, opinions of other people, articles you read, the world that you interact with, things you touch, feel, smell, see, this is essentially a data input that goes into your brain. And we call this processing. That's the processing mode of your brain. When there is nothing coming in, so let's say you sit in a quiet place, no loud sounds, no banging music, nothing else to do. It's not too hot or not too cold. It's not bright lights, right? When there's very little things that are coming in, there's no TV playing in the background, nobody talks into your ear, you need to do this, this is still outstanding, right? The dog needs to be taken out, whatever those things are. No, you're not reading news in the newspaper, right? There's nothing new coming in. After a couple of minutes, your brain, the default mode network in your brain will activate, and your brain will switch into indexing mode, which is the time that it needs to organize and make sense of everything that came to your brain, consciously or subconsciously. And we're only aware of a small fraction of what comes into the brain, the fraction that we direct our attention to. But in the background, your brain is processing a lot of different things. Now, what we believe is that an average brain requires more information for indexing information
More time.
more time for indexing information than it required to acquire that information.
Right. How
And
much more?
It's difficult to say, but even if you would say it's an equal time,
Yeah.
then it means that the time between the times during the day when you acquire the information and then index that information, if it would be equal, so you sleep for 8 hours, 8 hours of acquisition and 8 hours of organizing, or 8 hours of processing and 8 hours of indexing, that would bring it at balance.
Yeah.
But
you're not indexing when you sleep.
No, you're not indexing, and that's in the same way. There's still processes of organizing information that are happening when you're asleep, but it's not the same thing.
Yeah.
So again, let's say from the 8 hours that you're asleep, you're left with 16 hours in a day. And if it would be equal, you acquire and process for 8 and index for another 8.
Yeah.
But the truth is, hardly anyone in a modern world lives like this.
Yeah.
Scrolling through social media, watching a Netflix film, we describe it as relaxing, but it's not indexing. It's your brain still acquires and processes information. Social media is even worse because it not only you acquire information and new information is being put into your brain, often of very dubious quality or importance or value.
Yeah, right.
It is also giving you a dopamine release, so a reward in a way, for watching that not necessarily developmental or clever pieces of information. But it's constant processing. And what you go to your bed with your phone, continue reading news that are typically designed to emotionally destabilize you, and then you lay down and you are worried, or you don't know why is it that you cannot go to sleep, right? Or what is difficult to fall asleep, or how do you stop all these thoughts, right? But you haven't spent 10 minutes with yourself in the last decade or so, right?
Yeah.
That's the price you pay for not doing this.
Yeah.
There's a shocking statistic that we repeat quite often from the research that came out as early as 2012, I believe, or 2013, that an average human today will process more information in a week than someone living in the 15th century processed throughout their entire life. Right? That's roughly the disturbance in the balance that you need. No wonder we live in a mental health epidemic and crisis.
Right.
Most people never met themselves.
Yeah.
They never spent 10 minutes with themselves and their own thoughts. And they're paying the price. You have to pay the price. It's just our biology, right? There is, if you're not cleaning the clutter from your brain, if you're not giving your brain time to clean it, you're going to pay the price.
Yeah.
And you've mentioned what you index for 10 minutes a day, right? And that has a measurable, as you described it, visible and profound impact on how you function.
Yeah.
10 minutes.
I know. Yeah. And that's hardly enough, right?
Yes. We know that we've recently listened to a podcast with a relatively famous thinker and author who said that he spends 2 hours a day indexing and makes every conscious effort to ensure that he has ability to do his daily, because without it, he wouldn't be able to perform the way it does. 2 hours. So imagine you cut 2 hours out of your day just to sit and let your brain do its work. That's what makes Harari one of the most impactful modern leaders, and thought leaders and authors, and thinkers. Yeah, that's interesting. So indexing, no poisons, movement, activities that broadly engage multiple domains of your brain. Yeah. And exposure to plasticity, the acquisition of multiple skills from different domains early. But if you didn't, you can start today. You can pick a skill, an interest today, not for the purpose of mastering it, but for the purpose of
trying it,
trying a new thing, just getting your brain to create new connections. It's interesting.